today's class, let us study about atoms and molecules. Now, first let us deal with atoms. Matter is made up of tiny particles. Tiny particles, and these tiny particles are called atoms. Called atoms. Okay. So, atoms are the building blocks of matter. Atoms are the building blocks of matter. In the second chapter, Is Matter Around Us Pure, we studied about the classification of matter based on the chemical composition. To refresh your memory, I will draw a flow chart of the classification of matter over here. Okay, we've already studied this classification. Just to refresh your memory, based on chemical composition, matter is of two types. Okay. Pure substance and mixture. Okay, pure substance and mixture. Pure substances of two kinds, elements and compounds. Mixture is also of two kinds, homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixture. Okay. Elements are further classified into three types, that is metals, non-metals and metalloids. Metalloids are also known as semi-metals. They are in between metals and non-metals. Their properties are in between metals and non-metals. Now compounds, there is no classification of compounds. Homogeneous, all homogeneous mixtures are known as solutions. Okay, so all homogeneous mixtures are known as solutions. Now heterogeneous mixture is again of two types, suspension and colloid. Okay, and colloids are again of five types. There are five types of colloids: aerosol, foam, emulsion, sol and gel. Okay, so this is the classification of colloid. Okay, so colloid is classified again into five types, right? So this is how the matter is classified based on its chemical constitution or chemical composition. Now, we've already studied in detail about everything in chapter 2, that is Is Matter Around Us Pure. I will just, in this lesson or in this part, I will just focus on the elements and the compounds. Okay, so let us move on to elements and compounds. Now, elements and compounds, these are different from one another, and the basic difference between elements and compound is that elements is made up of only one kind of atom. Okay, elements is made up of only one kind of atom. Elements, these are made up of only one kind of atom. एकै प्रकारको एटमले मात्रै बनिएको हुन्छ. जस्तो for example gold is made up of only gold atoms. Another example is silver. Another example is carbon. Okay, another example is oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen. So many examples are there of elements. So these you have to remember, these are made up of only one kind of atom. Okay, and the smallest particle of the element is known as atom. Okay, the smallest particle of element is atom. So atom चाहिँ element को सबभन्दा smallest particle हो. Okay, सबभन्दा smallest particle. Now let us move to compounds. What are compounds? Compounds are made up of more than one kind of atom. Two or more than two kinds of atoms. So, एउटा भन्दा ज्यादा atoms ले बनिएको हुन्छ. Okay. Example, we dealt with water in the previous section. Water, the formula of water is H2O. So यहाँनिर हेर्नुस् त दुई प्रकारको एटम छ, यहाँ हाइड्रोजन, अक्सिजन. So two types of atoms are there. यहाँनिर तपाईले गोल्डमा हेर्नु भने खाली गोल्ड एटम्स मात्रै हुन्छ, तर वाटरमा त्यस्तो हुँदैन. अमोनिया. Another example is that of ammonia. So its formula is, so here there are two kinds of atoms, nitrogen and hydrogen. Similarly, common salt that we take in our homes, okay, common salt, this is written as NaCl. So it has two atoms, sodium or chlorine. Okay, so compounds are made up of more than one kind of atoms. Okay, another example is hydrochloric acid. We have plenty of compounds around us. Sugar is also a compound, glucose is a compound. Okay, so they are made up of more than one kind of atom. Okay, and the smallest particle of compound is molecule. So अब difference बुझ्नु भयो कि हेर्नुस् त, elements को smallest particle चाहिँ atom हो, compound को smallest particle is molecule. Okay, now another subtopic that we will deal today is atomic symbols. Okay. Atomic symbols. There are 118 elements found on Earth. 118 elements found on Earth. Okay. Now it is very difficult to remember the names of all these elements, and also the name of an element can be different in different languages. जस्तो नेपालीमा अरु कुनै नाम दिनु सक्छ त्यो एलिमेन्टलाई, फेरि इंग्लिशमा अर्कै नाम हुन सक्छ, जर्मनमा अर्कै, फ्रेन्चमा अर्कै. ओके, so an element can have so many different names in different languages, so it will be very difficult to know which element are we talking about. So there was a need to give symbols to the elements so that everybody can understand the name of the element. So that is how the atomic symbols came into existence. And the first time atomic symbols was used by John Dalton, and yesterday we studied that John Dalton was a British chemist. Okay, so the first scientist who used atomic symbols was John Dalton. Okay, now while giving atomic symbols to elements, John Dalton kept two things in mind. Okay, while giving atomic was that element are made up of only one kind of atom. एकै प्रकारको एटमले मात्रै बनिएको हुन्छ एलिमेन्ट्स. We already discussed this. Okay, and second thing that he kept in mind was that atoms are spherical. उहाँलाई थाहा थियो atoms को shape चाहिँ spherical हुन्छ, गोलो हुन्छ भनेर. So he represented every element with a circle. Okay, symbol दिँदाखेरि उहाँले circle मा represent गर्नुभयो. Thus he represented every element with a circle. So some of the symbols that he used was, for hydrogen he drew a circle and made a dot in the middle. So this was hydrogen. This is John Dalton ko symbol ho. Carbon ko lagi again he made a circle and he filled the circle with black color. So sorry, black color le fill garnu bhayo त्यो circle लाई. So this means carbon. Okay, this means carbon. For oxygen he just drew a circle. This is for oxygen. Okay, so he gave so many more symbols like this, but it was difficult to remember the symbols like this. अब यस्तो symbols त याद गर्नु पर्दा साह्रो पर्यो नि त. So scientists, they thought of replacing the symbols and finding symbols that were easy to remember. So then came the modern atomic symbols. Okay, त्यहाँदेखि जन डाल्टनको बादमा चाहिँ सजिलोको लागि चाहिँ modern atomic symbols came into existence. And modern atomic symbol was given by scientist. His name is John Jacob Berzelius. So the modern atomic symbols are also known as Berzelius atomic symbol. Okay. Modern atomic symbol or Berzelius atomic symbol. Okay. Now the first universally accepted atomic symbols was introduced by a Swedish chemist. He was from Sweden. Swedish भनेपछि है, Swedish chemist Johns Jacob Berzelius. Okay, Johns Jacob Berzelius. Alright, so initially, first month, when they started giving the names of elements, they gave the names of the elements from the places they came from or from their color. Okay, initially the names of the element were derived from places they came from. जहाँबाट आयो त्यो जग्गाको नाममा राखिन्थ्यो नाम, or from their color. For example, copper. Copper is an element that comes from Cyprus. Cyprus is a country that is in Europe. Europe ma hune एउटा country हो Cyprus. So Cyprus first मा Cyprus बाट copper निस्केको. So त्यहाँबाट चाहिँ नाम दिएको copper. Similarly, gold. गोल्डको कलर कस्तो हुन्छ येलो कलरको सो मिनिङ अफ गोल्ड इज येलो सो येलो कलर भएको कारणले गर्दा गोल्डलाई नाम दियो gold. Okay, so in this way either the names were derived from the places they came from or from their color, but nowadays IUPAC approves the names of elements. Nowadays IUPAC, okay, approves the names of elements. Now what is IUPAC? The full form of IUPAC is IUPAC stands for International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. Okay, it stands for International Union. International को I, Union को U, Pure को P, Applied को A, Chemistry को C. ते गरेर चाहिँ IUPAC. Okay, this is an organization that contains a group of scientists. अनि त्यो साइन्टिस्टले चाहिँ they set down certain rules in chemistry. Chemistry मा certain rules हरु निकाल्नुहुन्छ. So IUPAC ले नाम पनि आजकल IUPAC ले approve गर्छ. And the names or the symbols for the elements are also given by IUPAC. So according to IUPAC, there is a rule or for giving the symbol to the elements. So के रहेछ त according to IUPAC त्यसको मेथड अनुसार चाहिँ कस्तो पाराले we give the atomic symbols भन्दाखेरि according to IUPAC, right, the symbols of elements, can be given as follows. Okay, so first some elements, the symbol of the element consists of the first letter of its common Latin or Greek names. Such a first letter is written in capital letter. So यो रूल अनुसार according to Berzelius also Berzelius ले यही भन्नुभएको थियो कि जब पनि हामीले कुनै एलिमेन्ट को सिम्बल लेख्छौं त्यतिबेला we will consider the first letter of its name. Okay, उसको नामको first letter will be considered its symbol, and when we write the symbol the first letter is always written in capital letter. So दुईटा चीज याद राख्नु पर्यो, first letter of its name or and that first letter is written in capital letter. Okay, अब नेम पनि कमन ल्याङ्ग्वेज मा हुन सक्छ, कमन नेम हुन सक्छ, ल्याटिन नेम हुन सक्छ अथवा ग्रीक नेम हुन सक्छ. जस्तो कमन नेम मा I'll give you an example. कमन नेम चाहिँ oxygen is common name, nitrogen common name, carbon common name, है. सो यस्तो पाराले कमन नेम हुन सक्छ. ल्याटिन नेममा some of the Latin names are cuprum, है. क्युप्रम भन्ने ल्याटिन नेम हो. त्यहाँदेखि aurum, it is also Latin name. Ferrum, Latin name. Plumbum, so all these are Latin names. Greek names पनि हुन्छ, जस्तो natrium, is a Greek name. त्यस्तै गरी Kalium is also Greek name. Then comes Stannum. Okay, Stannum is Greek name. So यस्तो पाराले चाहिँ के छ, different names हुन्छ, names in different languages हुन्छ. जेसुकै भए पनि even if it's a common name, Latin name or Greek name, त्यो name को first letter will be taken as the symbol. जस्तै यहाँनिर हेर्यो भने oxygen will be represented by O. Oxygen को O हुन्छ symbol. Nitrogen को N हुन्छ. Okay, so यस्तो पाराले the symbols will be taken as the first letter of its common Latin or Greek names. Okay, now the second rule. Sometimes there will be elements that will be having the same first letter. So त्यति बेला चाहिँ के गर्नु, जस्तो hydrogen and helium दुईटै first letter HH छ कि छैन. अब दुईटैलाई त HH लेख्नु त मिलेन, will be confused whether it's hydrogen or helium. So what do we do in that case भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ त्यस्तो केसमा चाहिँ we also take the second letter. Okay, so second rule ma, if the elements have same first letter, then their symbol consists of two letters. Consists of two letters. Okay, the first letter, the अगाडिको first नामको first letter भइहाल्छ. The first letter followed by less common, त्यो जुन चाहिँ second letter छ which is not common, followed by another letter, second letter not in, which is not in common. त्यो चाहिँ common हुनु भएन. So when we write such symbols having two letters, the first letter is written in capital. Is written in capital letter. Capital मा लेख्नु पर्छ. And the second letter is written in small letter. Small. Okay, so यो चाहिँ तपाईले rules याद गर्नु पर्यो. Just let me give you an example. So एउटा छ carbon, okay, calcium, cadmium, copper. हेर्नुस् त चारटा एलिमेन्ट्स मैले नाम लेखे. All these have the first letter as C. अब सिम्बल लेख्नु पर्यो नि चारटैको C आउने रहेछ फर्स्ट लेटर कन्सिडर गर्यो भने त. सो के गर्नुपर्छ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ when the first letter is common, then we also take into consideration the second letter. Okay, second letter लिनु पर्छ. Now second letter लिँदाखेरि कार्बन को त C नै लिन्छ. Okay, but calcium को चाहिँ अब second letter is A. Okay, so we'll take that second letter. So when we write the second letter, it is written in small letter. So we'll write A as small letter. So calcium को symbol भयो Ca. Now let us move to cadmium. Now if you see the symbol, look at the name of the cadmium. यसको पनि त A छ. अब फेरि A लेख्यो भने त cadmium र calcium त same भयो. कसरी distinguish गर्नु? So instead of second letter, the third letter is taken, and again it is written as small letter. So cadmium like CD भनेर denote गरिन्छ. अब copper को second letter is O, so symbol CO हुनु पर्ने, but no, symbol of copper is Cu. किन Cu लिन्छ? U चाहिँ कहीँ छैन नाममा. त कसरी चाहिँ U लियो भन्दा चाहिँ actually the Latin name of copper is cuprum. Okay, so cuprum भएको कारणले गर्दा C first letter भइहाल्यो, U चाहिँ त्यसको second letter. So in this way, when the first letter is common, we also take into consideration the second letter while writing the symbol. And you have to keep in mind that when the name is composed of two letters, then the first letter should be in capital letter and the second letter should be in small letters. Okay, so symbol, let us now define symbol. So symbol भनेको चाहिँ के रहेछ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ is the symbol is the symbol of an element. Element is the abbreviation. Abbreviation means the short form. Okay, abbreviation is the short form of the full name of the element. So symbol भनेको के हो? एलिमेन्ट को फुल नेम को शॉर्ट फॉर्म मात्रै हो नि. क्याल्सियम को शॉर्ट फॉर्म Ca, कार्बन को शॉर्ट फॉर्म CO. So symbol is the abbreviation for the full name of the element. अब पढौं atomic mass को विषयमा. Okay. Now what are atoms? I have told you multiple times, atoms are the building blocks of matter. That means matter is made up of tiny particles and those tiny particles are called atoms. अब हामीले tiny भन्ने word use गर्दैछ. Tiny भनेको चाहिँ के हो भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ tiny means very small. Atoms are so small that आँखाले त हैन, आँखाले त देख्दैन obviously so small भएपछि, but they are also very difficult to see even under a very powerful microscope. Okay, so atoms are so small that they cannot be seen even under a powerful microscope. कति पावरफुल माइक्रोस्कोप मा पनि देख्नु साह्रो पर्छ अथवा देख्दैन एटम्स हरु. ओके, नाउ अब यो यस्तो सानो एटम्स लाई चाहिँ अब साइज कसरी मेजर गर्नु त? हाउ इज द साइज अफ द एटम मेजर्ड भन्दा चाहिँ साइज इज मेजर्ड इन nanometers. Okay, nanometers. जसरी हामीले कुनै पनि उसको लेन्थ मेजर गर्दा सेन्टिमिटर, मिटर, किलोमिटर्स मा मेजर गर्छ, similarly when we measure the size of atoms it is measured in nanometers. The short form of nanometers is nm. So सेन्टिमिटर भन्दा किलोमिटर भन्दा सानो के हो? मिटर. मिटर भन्दा सानो सेन्टिमिटर. सेन्टिमिटर भन्दा सानो मिलिमिटर. मिलिमिटर भन्दा अझै सानो चाहिँ नानोमिटर्स. ओके, so 1 nanometer is equals to 10 to the power minus 9 meter. Now the size is so small that it cannot be seen even under a most powerful microscope. So do you think these atoms have mass? Mass हुन्छ होला यिनीहरुमा? Yes, mass means weight. So do they have mass? भन्दा चाहिँ yes, they do have mass. Okay, so atoms have mass. So that mass is known as atomic mass, and the concept of atomic mass was given by John Dalton. The remarkable concept of atomic mass was given by John Dalton. Okay, so it was given by John Dalton. So according to Dalton, every atom, according to him, every atom has a characteristic mass. Okay, सबै atom को चाहिँ एउटा specific or characteristic mass हुन्छ. अब mass त हुन्छ त भन्नुभयो नि. Now how do we measure this mass? It is very small. So it became very difficult for the scientists to measure the mass of atoms. Okay, so instead of measuring the mass of atoms, they took the concept of relative atomic mass. So उहाँहरुले चाहिँ they found out the relative atomic mass. Atomic mass find out नगरेर relative atomic mass find out गर्नुभयो. अब relative atomic mass भनेको चाहिँ के हो त? Okay, atomic mass भनेको त mass of an atom, but since the mass of an atom, since the mass is atoms are very small, so their mass is, to find out the mass of atoms is almost impossible. Okay, so the के गरेको छ उनीहरुले चाहिँ instead of atomic mass they found out what is known as relative atomic mass. Relative atomic mass is taken out or found out by comparing the atomic masses of elements with a standard element. भनेको चाहिँ एउटा स्ट्यान्डर्ड एलिमेन्ट लिन्छ अनि त्यो स्ट्यान्डर्ड एलिमेन्ट सँग चाहिँ कुन चाहिँ एटम को फाइन्ड आउट गर्नु छ त्यो स्ट्यान्डर्ड एलिमेन्ट सँग कम्पेयर गरेर चाहिँ फाइन्ड आउट गरिन्छ रिलेटिभ एटोमिक मास चाहिँ. ओके, सो अब स्ट्यान्डर्ड एलिमेन्ट हुनु पर्यो नि त त्यहाँनिर. ओके, सो देयर हैज टु बी अ स्ट्यान्डर्ड एलिमेन्ट. त्यो स्ट्यान्डर्ड एलिमेन्ट सँग चाहिँ अरुको एटोमिक मास कम्पेयर गर्नु पर्यो नि त. जस्तो सिम्पल भाषामा भन्नु भने हामी सब सब्जी किन्नु जाँदाखेरि हामी के गर्छौं, 1 केजी मलाई आलु दिनुस् न भन्दाखेरि हामी त्यो दोकानेले के गर्छ, एउटा ढक लिन्छ. ढक इज दैट स्ट्यान्डर्ड. ओके, ढक लियो त्यहाँदेखि अर्कोपट्टि सब्जी लिन्छ अन्त त्यसमा तौलिन्छ नि त. सो हो यो ढक चाहिँ चाहियो नि त हामीलाई केमा चाहिँ नाप्नु पर्यो, त्यो स्ट्यान्डर्ड एलिमेन्ट चाहिँ चाहियो. अनि त्यो स्ट्यान्डर्ड एलिमेन्ट हाउ इट इज नाउ which element can be taken as standard element भनेर साइन्टिस्टहरु they started to think about it and then they took oxygen atom 1/16 of mass, 1/16th mass of oxygen atom, 1/16th mass of oxygen atom as the oxygen atom as the standard element of the standard mass. So यो oxygen को 1/16th mass सँग चाहिँ अब अरु atoms लाई compare गरेर चाहिँ relative atomic mass was found out. Now why was oxygen taken भन्दा चाहिँ oxygen was chosen. Okay, oxygen, why was oxygen chosen as standard atomic mass भन्दा चाहिँ because first oxygen reacted with a large number of elements. थुप्रो एलिमेन्ट्स सँग कम्बाइन गर्छ and forms compound. Okay, and second is using oxygen as atomic mass unit, using this as atomic mass unit, the masses of all elements came to be in whole numbers. जब oxygen लाई, when oxygen was taken as the standard unit and when the masses of other elements, atoms of other elements were compared to oxygen, जहिले पनि त्यो चाहिँ whole numbers मा आयो. whole numbers means 1 2 3 4 5 6 है, decimal points भएको आएन. So oxygen was taken as the standard element. But in the year 1961 यो oxygen लाई replace गर्यो अर्को element ले, and now instead of oxygen another element is used as standard element and that element is carbon, C12. Okay, in 1961 C12 was chosen as the standard reference, okay, reference for finding out the atomic mass units, okay, for measuring atomic mass. Okay, therefore one atomic mass unit like abbreviation गरेर AMU लेख्छ. One atomic mass unit is equals to 1/12 of carbon atom. Okay, 1/12 of carbon atom. अब यो 1/12 कन्सेप्टलाई म तपाईहरुलाई सजिलोसँगले सम्झाउँछु ओके अब सपोज आई हैव अ वाटरमेलन ओके वाटरमेलन छ मेरोमा यो वाटरमेलनको मैले यो यसको मास चाहिँ सपोज 12 छ अरे ओके इट्स मास इज 12 so now I take this watermelon and then I divide it into equal pieces 12 वटा पिसमा मैले के गरे त्यसलाई डिवाइड गरे okay so I'm dividing it into I think 12 pieces भयो होला okay think यो चाहिँ 12 वटा pieces छ भनेर okay 12 pieces मा मैले डिवाइड गरे now डिवाइड गरेपछि now when I take this one piece यो one piece लिए भने मैले this will be कतिवटा parts छ 1 भनेको 1 numerator मा लाग्यो so how many parts are there 12 parts so 1/12 this is equal to 1 atomic mass unit so यो watermelon को concept चाहिँ अब तपाईले यसमा लिनुस् सेम यही concept चाहिँ अब तपाईले कार्बन सोच्नुस् न instead of watermelon this is carbon okay this is carbon and its mass is 12 so again it is broken down into 12 pieces 12 वटा pieces मा and then one piece है यो one piece that is 1/12 is equals to 1 atomic mass unit okay so यस्तो पाराले 1 atomic mass unit लिएको it is one part out of 12 parts 1 out of 12 भनेको नि त 1/12 भनेको चाहिँ okay now अब यो 1/12 कन्सेप्टलाई कसरी युज गर्नु त रिलेटिभ एटोमिक मासमा मास मेजर गर्नुको लागि भन्दाखेरि अब सम्झिनुस् नाउ आई हैव टेकन अ बीम ब्यालेन्स तराजु लिए एकपट्टि मैले हाले 1 एटोमिक मास युनिट सो आई हैव टेकन यस्तो गरेर बीम ब्यालेन्स लिए है एकपट्टि यो तराजुमा मैले कार्बनको एक पार्ट हाले यहाँनिर मैले सपोज मैले हिलियमको मेजर गर्दैछु है हिलियमको मेजर गर्दैछु सो दुईपट्टि लिए एक पार्ट हाले एकपट्टि यतापट्टि हिलियम हाले हिलियम के भयो बेसी भयो सो एकपट्टि यस्तो भयो अब त्यसलाई बराबरी गर्नु पर्यो नि त सो एकपट्टि झर्दाखेरि मैले अब बराबरी गर्नुको लागि व्हाट विल आई डू आई विल एड अनदर पार्ट ओभर हियर अर्को पार्ट मैले एड गरे अगेन हिलियम बेसी भयो अर्को थर्ड पार्ट एड गरे अगेन हिलियम बेसी भयो फोर्थ पार्ट एड गर्दा मात्रै के भयो हिलियम र यो चाहिँ बराबरी भयो so one part is equals to 1 atomic units है त्यस्तै गरी 4 parts will be equal to 4 atomic units so the mass of helium will be taken as 4 atomic units okay so यस्तो पाराले तराजुमा एकपट्टि कार्बन 12 एटमको एक पार्ट लिँदै सबै अरु अक्सिजनलाई राख्यो मेजर गर्यो त्यहाँदेखि अर्कोलाई राख्यो यस्तो पाराले मेजर गर्नुलाई चाहिँ भनिन्छ हामी के भन्छौं यसलाई चाहिँ relative atomic mass unit okay so first let us define what is atomic mass unit atomic mass unit को definition लेखौं so one atomic mass unit is the mass unit equal to 1/12 of the mass of an atom of carbon 12 so one atomic mass unit भनेको चाहिँ 1/12 part of carbon 12 लाई चाहिँ 1 atomic mass unit भनेर मानिन्छ भनेको कार्बन 12 को 12 वटा भागमा एक भाग चाहिँ 1 atomic mass unit हो now relative atomic mass unit लाई डिफाइन गरौँ relative atomic mass unit it is the average mass of the atom as compared to 1/12 mass of carbon atom सो जब हामीले कार्बन एटमको 1/12 मासलाई अरु एटमसँग कम्पेयर गर्छ त्यति बेला चाहिँ विल फाइन्ड आउट द रिलेटिभ एटोमिक युनिट। जस्तो हिलियमलाई कम्पेयर गर्दाखेरि 4टा पार्ट्सले मात्रै हिलियम र त्यो बराबरी भयो। सो हिलियमको मास युनिट विल बी टेकन एज 4। ओके, सो प्रिभियसली or earlier atomic mass unit लाई चाहिँ हामीले एब्रिभिएट गरेर AMU भनेर लिन्थ्यो र त्यहाँदेखि कुनै पनि एटमको मासलाई चाहिँ हामीले AMU मा हामीले त्यसको युनिट लेख्थ्यो नि। तर अहिले चाहिँ त्यो AMU has been replaced by another unit that is U। so अब AMU को जग्गामा we use the letter U। so AMU is replaced by U। U stands for unified mass, okay, which stands for unified mass। so भन्नुको मतलब चाहिँ अघि चाहिँ हामीले हिलियमको 4 एटोमिक मास युनिट भन्दै थियो। अब यो एटोमिक मास युनिटलाई केले रिप्लेस गर्यो? युले रिप्लेस गर्यो। सो यस्तो पाराले हिलियम इज इक्वल्स टु 4U भनेर चाहिँ लिन्छ। ओके, यु मिन्स युनिफाइड मास। यसरी चाहिँ relative atomic mass of different elements has been taken। I'll give you the relative atomic mass of some elements। okay, so first ma hydrogen, the relative atomic mass of hydrogen is 1। okay, oxygen is 16, nitrogen is 14। okay, त्यस्तै गरी कार्बन को त अघि भनिहाल्यो 12 कार्बनको है। त्यसै गरी सोडियम 23, सल्फर 32। अलराइट, सो त्यस्तै गरी म्याग्नेशियम 24, क्याल्सियम 40, क्लोरिन 35.5। so यो चाहिँ तपाईले याद गर्नु पर्यो। you have to memorize these numbers। so these are some of the that we commonly use। हामीले commonly use गर्ने atoms हरुको चाहिँ relative atomic mass is this। okay, now let us move on to this next subtopic, how do atoms exist। अब atoms हरु कसरी exist गर्छ त अर्थ मा भन्दाखेरि atoms exist either freely or independently, or they do not exist freely or independently। Atoms of some elements exist freely or independently। भनेको एक्लै पनि एक्जिस्ट गर्छ कोही कोही एलिमेन्ट्स को freely or independently। the elements, these elements are inert or noble gases। noble gases, they do not react or they are unreactive। so एक्लै exist गर्छ। okay, some of the there are 6 inert gases or noble gases on earth naturally occurring है gases। के रहेछ भन्दा चाहिँ are helium। let's start with helium। अघि हिलियमको 4 हुन्छ एटोमिक मास युनिट भनेको थियो। हिलियम, नियोन, these are all gases। okay, neon, argon, krypton, xenon and radon। okay, so these are the 6 noble gases that exist on earth naturally, and they are inert, they do not react with one another। so यिनीहरुको एटम चाहिँ एक्लै एक्लै बस्छ। okay, they exist freely or independently भनेको एक्लै एक्लै बस्नु सक्छ तर यो बाहेक यो 6 वटा noble gases बाहेक atoms of other elements do not exist freely or independently. Atoms of other elements do not exist freely or independently. Freely exist गर्दैन or independently exist गर्दैन भन्छ. कसरी exist गर्छ भन्दा चाहिँ okay, they combine with each other. They combine with each other to form different forms of matter. To form different forms of matter. So यसरी atoms अरुको atoms हरु चाहिँ they combine with one another. एकार्कासँग combine हुन्छ, जोडिन्छ and then they form different forms of matter. Okay, so when atoms combine chemically, okay, they combine with each other chemically. So when atoms combine chemically, they form molecules. अब हैन molecules चाहिँ okay, जब atom मिल्छ त्यतिबेला चाहिँ तिनीहरु के बनिन्छ, molecule बनिन्छ. Atom will give molecule. Okay, atom मिलेपछि चाहिँ molecule बनिन्छ. अब molecule पनि दुई प्रकारको छ है, molecule of element and molecule of compound. Okay, so हेरौँ molecule of element र molecule of compound मा के डिफरेन्स हुँदो रहेछ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ element means they contain only one kind of atoms भनेको छ नि त है. सो एकै प्रकारको atom मात्रै हुन्छ. So when the atoms of same elements, when the atoms, same kind of atoms, they combine together, they form the atoms of elements. Okay, when the atoms of same element combine together, they form molecule of element. They form molecule of element. Just so, for example, O2. Understand? O2 भनेको this is an oxygen molecule. यसमा दुईटा oxygen atom छ नि, O plus O will give O2. So हेर्नुस् त, same kind of atoms, they are combining together to form molecules. त्यस्तै गरी N2, nitrogen दुईटा है, hydrogen दुईटा. So all these are the atoms of same elements and they combine together to form the molecule of element. When the atoms of different elements combine together, they form molecule of compound. त्यतिबेला चाहिँ molecule of compound हुन्छ. Okay, for example, water, ammonia. अघि मैले कति example दिएको थिएँ हैन compound को. So if you look here, यहाँ के भएको छ, दुईटा hydrogen atom plus one oxygen atom gives water. So हेर्नुस् त, दुई प्रकारको atoms भयो नि त, यहाँ त same OO थियो तर यहाँ H र O छ. त्यस्तै गरी नाइट्रोजन र हाइड्रोजन combine भएर ammonia. So here two different kinds of atoms, they combine together and they form molecule of compound. Okay, so let us end today's class here.